Healing from divorce. Hi everyone, it's Maria Maumela. Thank you for joining me. I got married when I was 22. No, I wasn't pregnant. I met my ex-husband when I was 21. A year later, he paid lobola for me, and a year later, we got married at church. It was a white wedding. Okay. I never thought that I would wake up one day with three children divorced. Okay, within the third month of us dating, he told me he was going to marry me. And he said that the first time he saw me, he knew I was his wife. Okay, um, so I we finally called everything ended early 2019. Everything was finalized in 2019, okay? But I left my matrimonial home early 2020. By then my ex-husband had taken my two older children, and I stayed in my matrimonial home with the younger one, okay? So it was quite a journey. I do not want to lie. I just wanted to be healed as quickly as possible, and I just wanted to go on with my life and to put everything behind me. When my marriage finally broke off, it was a difficult marriage because I would leave and I would come back. Okay, every once in a long while that would happen. But the marriage broke at the time when I was in deep intercession, and it was the time when I would get up like in the early hours of the morning to pull an hour prayer in tongues. That was the time when all hell broke loose. So when everything fell apart, I was angry. I was very angry with God that I even stopped praying. And for even a brief time, I could say I was like, I'm done with this. Okay. I had like, you can say I moved away from the faith for a little bit. Okay. I'm saying for a little bit because I went back to try and get myself into the world to just do my own thing because I was angry that the Lord did not protect me when I needed him the most. I've been faithful, I've been loyal, I've been walking the straight and narrow before God. He is my witness. Why didn't he protect me? Why didn't he protect my marriage? Why did he let my marriage fall apart? I didn't understand. So I was angry. So I went into the world. After after everything was just finished, I just felt like whatever. So what I did was I just dipped my big toe into the water, and what do you know? Some people they just jump into things, they just jump into sand and they swim peacefully, and yet for some of us we just put our big toe in and we burnt. So it was like a matter of like, the Lord was like, no, you go back to the straight and narrow. So the Lord did not allow me a chance um to even go back into the life of sin. Like my first attempts were like, the Lord just quickly put me in line. So I'm grateful too, I'm grateful too. Like the Lord is always like being that shield and that protection. So I'm not complaining. And the Bible does say that the Lord chastises those whom he loves. Okay. So going through divorce, let's speak of the stages. Let's speak of the five stages of healing. Perhaps you go through the first, the second, and the third, then you start all over. You go again the first, second, you get to the third, then you start all over. And then one day you manage to go through all the steps. Just when you are on the final step, then you go back. And then you try again, and then you get to the final stage. Guess what? Then you do it all over again. And what do you know? You get to do it all over again. So I was aware of the steps of healing. I just wasn't aware that I might have to do those a few times. I didn't know that there were laps I still had to do. So there were uh, emotions to deal with. Like I would remember situations and events, moments I would play in my mind. And I was able to look at the situation and say, oh, that was beautiful. And there are some situations I remember, and I'd be like, well, that was toxic. Sometimes I'd be like, oh, but that was so honorable. Sometimes I'd be like, but that was abusive. So there was different situations that would play in my mind, and I was able to look at them with a clear mind, and I was able to realize like it's a good thing that I'm actually out of the marriage. Although I was angry at God at that time, I could not see the bigger picture. I just felt like, no marriage is perfect, no person is perfect. And yeah, you know just making the most, you know but for someone that was married before, like when days are good, days are really good. And just being exposed to the marriage life, it made me realize I am really called to being a wife, because I do love serving my family. I do love serving my family. I want to come home to warmth, to love, to a family, to children, to the laughter of children, and a loving partner. So I know I'm called to marriage. Okay. So for someone who's going through this process and you're wondering how long will it take to heal, like I would have loved to be healed within 6 months. I saw the first year go by and I was like doing better. Every passing year makes you stronger and it heals. Yes, some wounds will take longer to heal, okay, but as far as you being able to move on, like you do not need a lifetime. I could say in the beginning of year 4, it was then that I could say, like, I could just like breathe and be like, wow, I'm really healed. Like, I'm feeling strong on year 4. Okay. So, for someone who just walked out of their marriage, or the marriage just ended, you just need to allow yourself a few years to heal. I know it's hard to hear. That's exactly what I didn't want anyone to tell me. I just wanted, like, let's get it done. Okay, out the way. So, yeah, I just wanted to share my story to encourage someone to understand that it is true that the end of a marriage is like the death of a loved one. The dreams that die, the hopes, the dreams, the plans you had, like they're finished, they're gone, and now you have to start all over. And it may feel like someone pulled a rug from under you because you had no plan B, like you never planned that you would ever have to raise children alone. No one ever plans to be a single parent, really. Or there are people, but not so many people, okay? So with every day, it will get better. It will get better, and it's an interesting thing to heal from divorce, because I'd be even at a grocery store, and as part of my healing, this is also what I went through. There's those big things to those small, minute things, like getting a toothpaste and asking myself, like, was this my choice of preference or was it his? And I'm slowly finding myself. So it's been very interesting and very funny. So and also being able to forgive the past, and not having to feel the need to justify yourself, and just coming to the point of peace. Like everything is in God's hand. Like let Him judge, like let God have the final say. At the end of the day, God runs everything. Our lives are in His hand, and my future is still bright. I'm still hopeful. I'm still full of faith. um I'm still full of life. I still want to do so much. Okay, and I still trust the Lord for bigger and better things. So even though I have a life that's behind, and things I had to leave behind, and doors I had to close, I do trust the Lord for bigger and for better things. You know, best and better things are still to come. They are still to come. So to anyone who has to start life over, it's okay. And it's normal to also be starting life at a lower financial level than what you are used to. Okay, so it's normal. Like, you will get through that, no matter what hardships are before you. You just need to trust in the Lord and take it each day at a time, and allow yourself to learn, allow yourself to grow, allow yourself to heal. Okay. So I hope this was a blessing to someone. Thank you, guys. God bless.